and welcome to the ChrissieCast, where I chat with my regular group of friends and interesting people from all over the world. And today's interesting person is none other than world-famous psychic medium John Edward. I mean, you would have seen him. You've probably been to his shows. He's everywhere. He's even been on the Kardashians. He's been thrilling us and touring everywhere, all over the globe for the last, say, 2 billion years, I reckon. Now, he popped over to the compound to chat about all sorts of stuff, but I was particularly thrilled with the new game I made just for him. Is it haunted? Enjoy. Welcome to the ChrissieCast, John Edward.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
As I live and breathe, I cannot believe that you are here at my home.
Yes, I am here. And I will be stealing your dog.
Oh, I know. Isn't Murphy beautiful? And he liked you straight away.
Straight away.
Even though you're wearing black like Johnny Cash. Is this the inspo today? Have we come as Johnny Cash?
I'm the man in black.
You are the man in black. Murphy loves you. Normally he doesn't warm to people who wear just black.
Really?
But he must see inside your soul, John Edward.
He can feel my energy.
Maybe you could go on tour with him.
He's a cutie.
He is a cutie. I've got so many questions. I've been so excited to see you. I saw you last year in Sydney and it was characteristically nuts.
Yes.
I want to start by letting people know that you and I have been friends for a long time now.
Yes.
I reckon about 12 years.
You would know better time-wise.
I think it's about 12 years.
When was the circle first on?
About 12, 13 years ago, something like that. And, you know, you came in the second year and straight away we just connected.
Right. We were the two kids that would get thrown out of class together.
Yes, right. Yes. And you've always made me feel like a bit magical. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh.
I want to ask you what you think of me. We've never done this before.
No, we really haven't. You are a Scorpio.
Yes.
And I have a Scorpio rising.
Right.
So we have a celestial cousin kind of a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt very connected to you from the first time I met you at the show. I loved your energy. You were effervescent. You are effervescent.
I'm bonkers.
But you're also like a little impish. So you have that little devilish side to you. So
I'll never forget what we got up to in the kitchen on the circle. I mean, it was a live television show and we were nearly kicked off the set.
Yes.
We're very naughty.
Yes. But you managed. You powered through. I just pulled myself off camera. I was like, I'm not going to be invited back to the show again. But do you know I still make that recipe? I still have that recipe.
What was it again? What were we cooking?
It was a chicken.
Yeah.
I can tell you in 2 seconds.
Okay, fantastic. Do it.
It's in my phone.
Oh my God, I love this.
Because it was really good. It was a really good recipe.
Did you bring the recipe or did we?
No, you had somebody there.
That's right. And then you were like, I'm going to cook too.
And they put me into the segment with you. Big mistake.
Big mistake. Huge. I can't wait. I can't believe you remember the recipe.
It was. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 13 years old. Here we go.
13.
Braised chicken. Braised chicken leg with pearl barley. Serves 4. 5 small chicken legs, skin on, bone in. Thyme. You guys would say shallots whole. 2 finely diced. 500 ml of chicken stock. 300 grams of pearl barley. 1 bunch flat leaf parsley. Diced butter. Spring onions. Sea salt to taste. Delicious.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. And you just put it all in a baking dish, do you, and bang?
Yep, it was delicious.
Can you please send that to me? I'm going to make that again. I've got, as you know, so many questions for you. And I'm just going to barrel through. Is that okay?
Let's do it.
What is it like when you are in the same room as another medium? Is it like 2 cats off Instagram circling each other? And
it could be, depending upon the medium. If it's somebody that I know, it's a really healthy conversation. If it's a person that I respect, then it's a dynamic conversation because we are going to have a shared experience. If it's someone that tells me that they're a medium, but I've never seen them work and I have no idea if it's legit or if they're where they're coming from, more importantly, where they're coming from with the intention of their work, then I'm going to be very powered down and almost removed.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I was approached. I came very, very close to doing another big television show probably about a decade ago. And it was backed by a powerhouse person that was already having a very successful show.
Yeah.
And as as we were
dying to know who it is, of course.
Dr. Phil.
Oh, right. Dr. Phil. I've got another question about that, which I'll get to, yes.
But it was Dr. Phil's. He was kind of looking at doing that. It was going to be myself and another medium that I respect. Her name is Shar Margolis. So I was just texting with before I walked in here. And they wanted other people to, kind of be a part of that. And I didn't really resonate with some of the people. So it was kind of like I just, and one of the women, as lovely as she was, she was like, "Oh my God, isn't this so exciting?" And I was like, I've done this twice before. Like I've done 2 internationally syndicated shows.
Yeah.
So excitement is not how I would look at it. Opportunity to teach and explain the process is how I would come from it.
Yeah, right.
But she had not done that. So she was looking at it from an excitement standpoint. And
she was thinking of all the free shit she was about to get. And I understand that. I get
think she was thinking about like, this is going to be a great opportunity for my career. Realistically.
Yeah,
and
right.
And if it happened, it would have been. But I was like, you should probably know, like, I don't play nice in the sandbox. And she like looked at me like, what does that mean? I go, it means that I have my own sandbox and I've kind of created that.
Yes.
And I play over here. And even though I might be doing something with somebody else, I'm still over here. Like I launched an app called, I showed you, EvolvePlus.tv.
Yeah.
I have my own channel on my own app because I keep myself separate. So I kind of feel like I have a lone wolf kind of approach to life.
Me too. That is why you are here at my house, because I think I am a lone wolf.
Because you can be responsible for your words and actions and what you do.
Yeah.
And in my field, I have to be careful who I sit next to. Because if that person's not coming from the right spot, if there's a splat factor for them, then by association, I don't want it.
Lay down with dogs, as they say. Do you get sick and tired? Oh, wait. First of all, I want to talk about Dr. Phil.
Okay.
Does he still have his TV show? Is he retired? I feel like he's retired.
According to my limited knowledge, he is now trying to launch his own network.
Right.
And he just did a really pathetic interview with Donald Trump, who I'm not a fan of.
Me neither. Why is his wife Robin in the front row and clapping every single show?
I don't know, but did my wife call you and tell you to ask me that question?
No.
She'd always be like, what does she got to be at every show for? I'm like, I don't know. She was like, I don't get it. I'm like, I don't, what are you asking me? I don't know.
My spidey senses tell me this. She doesn't trust him.
She just loves her husband and what he does.
I don't buy that. I would be very put off, if someone insisted to come and sit in that chair and watch me work. I would be very, very upset.
I don't know.
Wouldn't you?
I've never had that conversation. Me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be like, listen, I came on tour last year and I toured all through Australia and I had a great experience and I brought my 2 aunts, my only remaining aunts that are alive, my mom's side of the family. And I think they felt obligated that they had to come to my events. And I finally said to them, I was like, go out. Go eat. Like,
yeah.
You've seen
But
me
you're
do
their
this.
baby nephew.
I know.
What are their names?
Teresa.
Yep.
And Big Ro, Roseanne.
Oh my God. Are they heaven?
Yeah, they're my aunts.
Yeah. Now, do you get tired of people looking at you with desperation and needy eyes?
No, I don't really feel like I get that. So
really?
Yeah, I don't really feel like I get that.
I think maybe you've blocked it out because
maybe
people are so desperate for you, I think, to give them something.
My goal is always to give people something, and that is information. My job is to raise awareness and teach. So the readings are kind of a byproduct of that. The readings kind of are the thing that people resonate with and they actually want. But what I love, really, it's one of my favorite things, is when somebody's done being at an event and they say to me, I came for the reading, but I left with so much more. Yeah. Like that to me is like the best. That is the best.
What are the basic themes that, regardless of whether or not you are lucky enough to get a reading in these shows, what do you want people to take away?
I want people to know that there's a survival of consciousness, that life and love are eternal. I want them to know that they don't need a medium to connect them with what's already there. Like, you don't need me to read for you. You need me to help you understand it's possible. And more importantly, that it's happening and that you have your own relationship. And how great is it for you to work on your own dynamic with your loved ones who have passed? Sure, I get in the way of it. I validate it. I show the possibility, but it's not about me, right? Like, you don't have a conversation with one of your kids and then when you get done with that conversation, go, oh my God, I love this phone. You love your child.
Yeah, right.
You don't love the phone. The phone is a conduit. I'm just a phone. So I'm not the conversation.
That's interesting. Has anyone come through for someone that you've read that person doesn't know?
Sure. And then they've had to actually go back to their family and find out stuff.
Could George Michael come through for me?
If you had some type of connection to George Michael?
Well, I have a connection with him. He didn't know that I existed.
Right.
But I would like George Michael to come through for me.
Well, George Michael would have to have a reason to come through for you. So this
Does
is
he know how much I loved him?
I don't know if George knows that, but I could tell you that when Elvis had that release of that last song, A Little Less Conversation that they did, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought I was being pranked by friends because I had gotten a phone call from a radio station that wanted to book me to connect with Elvis. So I never responded back. I thought it was a joke.
God, you must have had some crackers requests over the years.
I had 3 more radio stations contact me, and they were trying to book me first so that they could bring through Elvis to find out what he thought about charting. And I'm like, these people don't get it. There's got to be a link or a connection. And that link and connection has to be like the person, or you've got a connection to the person. And as you said, you're the conduit. Yep. So it's really up to Elvis to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, can you let this radio station know I don't like this song? You have to have a connection to the person.
Yeah, right.
I remember I have a colleague that used to tell a story. She's now passed, but she used to tell a story where she was doing a group in her house, kind of like this. And somebody said, can you bring through Elvis? And Shelley turned around and said, are you related to Elvis? And she goes, no, but I love him. She goes, well, what makes you think Elvis is going to come through just for you? So she said, no, if there was a link or a connection. At that group, halfway through, she said, I can't bring through Elvis, but somebody here is related to the opera singer Enrique Caruso. And one of the people there said, yeah, that was my cousin.
Oh, my God. That is very specific.
Yeah, it was a story that she told all the time.
So, George, I'm never going to be able to tell him.
No, but you should not lose faith.
Oh, well, I guess it would be nice. All right, next on. I've been told by 2 mediums, unrelated, that there is an old school butcher that hangs around me.
For real?
Yeah. And what's that about?
I have no idea. You'd have to ask the 2 people who told you. For real. Like, you'd have to say, why are they saying that? Like, butcher as a person who works with beef?
Yeah.
That is a unique message to get from 2 separate individuals.
Yeah.
Did you have a butcher in your family?
Yes.
Well, then you know who it is then.
But I didn't know that person.
The age old, I didn't know that person. What I love in a reading is when you give information to someone and they go, yeah, but they died a long time ago. Or that's the other side of the family. Or I divorced that side of the family. Or they died before I was born. Like, why would they come through? I'm like, because it's your family. That's why. And they're usually one of a few people that would come through. But that's like a specific validation to show you that it's that person.
I should probably do some research into this old school butcher because I do like an eye fillet. I do like. What's your favourite cut of beef?
That.
It's an eye fillet?
Yep.
Can I give you a cooking tip?
Sure.
How do you prepare your steak?
It depends. I'm a big fan of adding a wine sauce to it. I have a really good recipe for a wine sauce from a restaurant.
Can you text that to me?
I can text that to you as
well.
I
love a wine sauce. Red wine.
It is red wine and port wine with dry sherry.
Oh, that would be delicious.
It is so good.
Is there cream in it and pepper?
No cream. You can salt and pepper it. You could put little pearl onions in it.
Can I tell you, it is so hard to find a good sauce for steak, isn't it?
I love a good tender.
Okay, I'm going to get that recipe off you, and in return, I'm going to give you a tip.
Okay.
When you're making your steak at home, I mean, I don't know, you might have chefs or something, Johnny.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a big deal.
Huge. Rotating chefs.
Yes.
My wife, my son.
Oh, it's Susie's day. Oh, okay, right. The best tip I can give you is when you buy your steak.
This is a steak tip.
It's a steak tip. Is that you must leave it on your bench for at least 2 hours before you cook it.
Now, when you say bench, do you mean counter?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do mean the countertop.
Countertop. Is it wrapped? Is it unwrapped? Is it salted?
It is. I mean, these are great questions, John. And
these are important questions.
So happy to answer them. You take your steak, you put it in a bowl, olive oil, which you would know all about given your Italian background.
Yep.
Olive oil, sea salt, pepper if you want. Mush it around or get the chef to mush it around. Right. And then you walk away.
Saran wrap?
Nope. No saran wrap or glad wrap is what we call it here down under. Leave it for at least 2 hours.
I don't know if I can leave it open for 2 hours.
I knew you'd be that germy guy. I knew it.
You saw me walking here with a mask. Like I can't do that.
All right, I'll allow saran wrap. Is that what you call it? Saran wrap?
Saran.
Okay, saran. Saran wrap.
Plastic wrap.
Very fancy. Cling wrap, we call it. Cling wrap. Cling film.
There you go.
I will allow that, but you must leave it.
And what does this exactly do?
It makes the steak tender, just about as tender as a mother's love is how it makes the steak. Second tip, heat your pan, get it hot.
Throw the water in, make sure that it's going to do the...
Well, you could do that, but I just wait until it's smoking so much I nearly have to call the fire brigade.
Okay.
That's a visual for me.
Okay.
When it's doing that, you put the steak in. You don't oil the pan. The oil is on the steak, not in the pan.
Creates a nice fond.
Yes. Seared. Anyway, that was Steak Chat with John Edward and Chrissie Swan.
No, steak tips.
Steak tips. John, I once heard a voice very clearly come out of a secondhand wardrobe. Thoughts, concerns?
Where was the wardrobe? Where were you when this happened?
I was laying in bed in my mum's house and we'd got this wardrobe from the trading post because there's no wardrobes in the house, and a man's voice came out of the wardrobe and it said, "Couldn't you just leave me alone?"
Now, have you heard those voices before?
No, it was not a voice I recognised.
Okay. And it was just a reaction that you had? Like it was a reaction to touching it? It was a reaction to...
No, I was going to load my stuff into it.
How old were you at the time?
21.
And did you tell anybody?
I'm telling you now.
So you've held this on for a few years?
Yep, because I thought I might be going mad. Can things be haunted?
So I'm not really a believer in items being haunted. I'm not really a believer in that. I believe that you had your experience and you associated it with that hutch at that moment. So you might have been feeling that, and then because that's what you were doing, that's where you put the impetus to it.
Right.
As opposed to it having nothing to do with, like, I don't believe dolls are haunted. I don't believe a dresser's haunted. I don't believe houses are haunted.
Well, this really...
Freaked you out?
It really fucks up our next segment because I've created an opener and everything. And we're going to play it anyway.
Let's do it.
Regardless of what you just said.
Okay.
Because, do you want to play a game with me, John Edward?
Yes.
For John Edwards.
Wait. I had it on.
Is this like a Mystic Meg thing going on here?
Who's Mystic Meg? I love it. I've heard of Mystic Meg. Is she an American?
No, it wasn't. It you on your radio show?
It's Mystic Chrissie. How very
Mystic
dare
Chrissie,
you?
Sorry.
Okay.
It's your alter ego, Mystic Meg.
You know what? I was pretty spot on sometimes.
Not that time.
Not that high. Most of the time, not.
It's one of my favorite segments.
Are you ready?
I am. Bring it.
And now it's time for John Edwards. Is it haunted?
Very dramatic.
Do you want it again just to really...
No, I think I'm good.
It's okay?
I think I'm good.
I've gathered some things from around my house and I'm going to ask you, is it haunted?
I could tell you no without you gathering them, but I'd love to see them.
Edit that bit out. I'm going to hand you this swordfish that says Australia 1986. Hold it. Touch it, John.
You want me to touch your fish?
Touch my fish. Touch it, John.
I'm telling you, we would be thrown out of school. Right out. Two of us out.
Feel it. Really get the vibe. Is it haunted?
I'm going to say no. Would you like it to be haunted?
God, you're a pain in my ass. Hold this. It's a black cat ashtray. And when you put your ciggy in it, smoke comes out his nose. Is it haunted?
No, it's not haunted. Your fish
And
I'm not saying it.
It's another word for cat.
Your putty is not haunted.
Tell you what, there's a ghost living in there. Don't you worry about that. What about this one? Are you ready? Get the fish and the cat out of your hand.
Okay.
John Edward. Really feel it. Turn it over in your hand. It's a Nokia phone from the early 1800s.
Holy crap, this is tiny.
I know. Is it haunted?
Yes, it's haunted by the memories of the conversation that happened.
And what conversation was that? Try harder.
I wish I could tell you.
Next thing in Is It Haunted? It is a Big Brother shot glass from Dreamworld 2003.
I'm going to say it's not haunted, but whoever, are you connected to that?
Yes.
Is there somebody that you're connected to that actually did pass, though, that's tied to that?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that.
Because as soon as you showed me that, I was like, not haunted, but whatever you link that to me, I feel like you have a connection to somebody that's passed.
Really?
Actually, anybody overdose connected to you? Or passed because of substance?
Yes. Oh, my God. I come up from a long line of alcoholics. Is that what you mean?
Substance, alcohol, drugs.
Yeah.
But more of a contemporary, like a friend. That's that. As soon as you showed me that, that's what that popped. Somebody
who did this show,
right,
in a couple of series before I did pass away, and I think it might have been from an overdose.
That's a show here?
Yes. It's the show that I was on.
That's a show you were on?
Yeah.
Not like a radio show, like a TV show.
A TV show.
What's it called?
Big Brother.
Oh, like in the house?
Yeah.
Did you win?
No. I lost. I'm a giant loser.
No,
I came second.
But as a result of coming second, look where you've come now.
That's right. We wouldn't be here if not for this shot glass.
You want to be a famous author, radio host, TV host.
That's right. It's the best thing I ever did.
Podcaster. Handing me fish and cats.
We're still playing Is It Haunted, by the way, because I haven't finished.
Because I have to teach while we're doing this, you know, when you actually take on somebody's object, right? Like when you take a person's object and put it in your hand, you're actually able to read that object.
Yeah.
It's called psychometry.
Yeah.
And there's two different types of psychometry. There's objective psychometry and subjective psychometry. So objective psychometry is where you would read the object, the history of it, and subjective psychometry is where you read the person who is connected to it, which is why if anybody goes for a reading, you should never give the medium an object or something, photo of the person who's passed, because you can connect with their energy and accurately read it, but it's not really a reading communicating.
That is interesting. Hold this.
Is that the Last Supper?
Yes. It's a copper. I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if Jesus came through?
So,
Judas?
I think I'd be the first person out of this room. I have a friend that's a priest, and one night he said to me, hey, we're going back now like 25 years. He goes, hey, we're going to do dinner and a reading. I go, we are? And he said, yes, you're going to provide both. Provide dinner and then the reading. And that night he said to me, after we ate, he goes, tonight I want you to go big. And I said, what does that mean? He goes, I want you to bring me one of the 12.
What?
I kid you not.
It's not an order.
And I literally laughed and I said to him, I go, I know we have a lot of parallels, but I didn't know that your mom and dad were like one of 12 because my mom was one of 11. So I was like, I didn't know you had like 12 aunts and uncles. And he looked at me and he goes, no. I go, well, what do you mean? Bring you one of the 12? And he just shook his head and he goes, one of the 12 apostles. And I looked at him, I was like, I can't do that. He goes, why not? I go, how am I going to bring you one of the 12? He goes, well, why can't you do it? I was like, how am I going to validate for you that I'm connecting with an apostle? And he goes, that's the easy part for me. I go, how is that the easy part? He goes, you're clearly not that good of a Catholic. He goes, so I'll know who you're talking about. I was like, nah, I'm good. I really can't do that. But he was serious. He was like, can you do...
I love the whole idea of come for dinner and a reading and we want you to go big tonight. We want some showbiz.
Yeah, like go big. Like I don't want grandma. I want like one of the 12. I'm like...
That is outrageous. I really do want you to hold this one though, because I really want to know, is this haunted?
No. Sorry. Is it from like a grandma or something?
Yes, it's from my grandma. It's the one thing that I've got of hers.
Yep. I feel like it's from your grandma.
It is from my grandma.
As soon as I touched it, I was like, oh, grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma.
I loved her. She was the best. I recently turned 50.
Do you look like her?
Yes.
Because I feel like you would look like her.
I look like her. I am like her. I cook like her. Very similar. In fact, I probably didn't know how like her I was until recently.
Do you remember her?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What would be the story with the laundry with her?
With the laundry?
Yeah, like was she very fastidious about how she washed or how you folded or how things were laid out to dry? Or
She was good at it, and I am obsessed with laundry. And she had
a hard life. She
did, yes.
She had a hard life. Growing up, she did not have it easy.
No.
She had 2 false starts.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because her childhood was rough. She was the eldest of heaps of kids. And
she lost a sister too.
Yes, she did. Yeah. Yes. As she lost...
but at a young age. Like when she was younger, she lost somebody young. So I feel like she had to deal with loss early, from what I'm saying.
Maybe, I don't know.
Do you know
I would say so.
Is there a Till name in that family?
Till,
like a Matilda or Tilly or a Talia. There's a T name. There's a T connection that's somewhere connected to your grandmother.
Okay, I'll have a think.
Kind of like Tilly, like literally Tilly. I hear Till in my head. Is she through your mom's side?
Yes, she's Mum's mum. Is
your mom still here?
Yes.
Just ask her who Tilly is.
Okay, I will.
Just be like, why would Grandma bring up Tilly? And do you know if there were somebody who had their leg amputated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, her brother.
And
Ow.
Is he passed too?
Yeah, they're all dead. One of the 12.
and do you know if one of them was arrested and spent a little time maybe dealing with some legal things?
I would say so, yes. Yeah, they were rogues and vagabonds.
Rogues and vagabonds.
Yeah.
Well, your grandma's clearly with you, but you don't have, that's not the only thing you have from her. You have the other thing that was handed down to you. It's not just that. It's more smaller, like a chain or a necklace or something that would be of that. Maybe rosary beads. I don't know. There's something that would be.
Oh, rosary beads. Yeah, I've got rosary beads. Yeah, of hers. Yeah. They're the only 2 things I've got.
Yep. And you have a photo of her when you make communion?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I do.
She wants me to remind you the story where somebody was out and a grown-up had a little bit of a whoopsie in public.
What, like pooed their pants or something?
The other way.
Weed?
And they were laughing. It was like...
Oh,
It was in a parking lot between cars?
Yeah, that happened, but that was my best friend.
Well, your grandma's bringing up that story.
She loved Beck as well.
So
isn't that funny? I've sort of answered my next question was I turned 50 recently, and I wasn't going to celebrate it at all. Not that I'm bar humbug about it, but I was just like, I'm excited about it or whatever, but I just don't want a big party because, I don't drink anymore. And when you don't drink, the whole idea of getting together and getting blind drunk isn't that appealing. And then I thought, I don't know what to do. Anyway, I ended up having I really drilled down into how I want my next 50 years to look.
50? You staying for another 50?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah. And I thought, friends to me are like my favorite thing. And I feel like friendship, if you are lucky enough to have meaningful friendships, that's like a superpower for me. So I sort of handpicked 30 people that I've loved and have loved me back, and I've felt that for decades and decades. And I invited them over for lunch, and it was the most beautiful thing. And in honor of...
I didn't get an invite.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Proceed.
Well, look, I would have, but I thought he's not going to come all the way from his palatial chef digs to come and have a lunch with me.
I might have if I was invited, but it's all right.
Shit.
Now I'm channeling my grandmother. It's okay.
God. And
it's fine. It's
fine.
And
then I could have said to you, come over and go big.
Right. I could have been the entertainment.
Anyway, I thought, what's a theme that I could go for? Who else has been really important to me? And I thought, Gran, I feel so connected to her, and obviously she can't come to the lunch. But when I was little, she was a big crafter. She knitted and crocheted and everything. And when me and my sisters were born, she sort of gave us a colour. And for my older sister, it was blue. So things would arrive from Australia Post handmade rugs and face washes and all of that. And we would know that the blue ones were for my older sister, my middle sister was green and I was yellow. So we would, tear through it all and pick our colours. So everything she made me was always yellow. So I got everybody to wear yellow to my birthday party in honour of her, and it was so gorgeous and it felt like it just really honoured her. It was beautiful.
Cool is that? That is really beautiful.
Really cool. Does she know that I did that?
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, if she can come through talking about the other stuff, that's the important part about a reading, is when you see the factual stuff come through to validate the stuff that we talked about.
Yeah.
Then they know about the everyday stuff as well.
That's good. I love that. That's important to me.
But I think what's really significant is how you honored her on your day, how you included her. I think that is so, so important. But getting back to the next 50 years, I probably won't be here for the next 50 years. And I promise you
Hey, enough of that negative self-talk, John Edward.
No, I'm just being realistic. I don't want to be here for another 50. I'd be 105. So, I can't imagine.
Have you seen Dick Van Dyke?
Yeah.
He's killing it.
He's killing it. Not
98.
for me.
Okay, not for you. All right, great.
Not for me.
Okay.
But that being said, just know that when I'm not here and you still are, when you reach for the drawer and you hear the voice, it's me. I will come back and haunt your drawer.
Maybe you'll haunt this studio.
You'll be like,
I'll come in one morning and I'll be, can't you go away?
I'll be talking about vegetables.
And chicken drumsticks. Now, what is the most bizarre reaction you've ever gotten from giving a message to a person?
Oh, I just told the story. It's kind of weird you asked me that. I was doing a reading for a young girl who lost her friend. And while I'm doing the reading, the girl said, you have to call my mom now. And I was like, She wants me to call her mom. I said, do you know her mom's phone number? And she said, yes. So I went and got my house phone, the cordless house phone with the big antenna. It was at that time. And we called the mom. And she said, hi, Mrs. So-and-so. I'm having a reading and your daughter's coming through. Do you want to talk to the medium? And she said, yes. So I get on the phone and I give her the information.
Yeah.
The woman let out like a horror movie scream, like you just played for me, like that.
Yeah.
And dropped the phone. Then some other lady gets on the phone and starts screaming at me like, you insensitive crap, blah, 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 blah. I was like, and in my mind, after she hung up on me, I looked at the girl that I was reading and I was like, I am so sorry. I said, we just did what she asked, which was call her mom right now.
Yeah.
Fast forward a week later, we find out the mom was reading a book about mediumship. And there was a phone reading apparently that had happened in the book. And she said to whoever she was with, if this is real, then I want my daughter to call me. And we did right after she said that. So she freaked out.
Understandable.
So that was a pretty big moment.
Wow. Do you believe in any other kind of oogity-boogity stuff like tarot, horoscopes, astrology, birth charts?
So I wouldn't classify it as oogity boogity. I would classify it as metaphysical practices. So
same oogity boogity metaphysical. Sure. I mean, it's the same thing. The woo woo.
Yeah, the woo.
The woo.
The woo. So
the woo.
Astrology, yes.
You've never been more New York than you were just then. It's the woo. It's the vibe of the woo.
Astrology, numerology, tarot are all tools. They're all tools. So yes, I do believe in the practice, not always in the practitioner.
Yes, fair. Which of those do you love the most?
Me personally?
Yeah.
To do?
Yeah.
I love tarot.
How does tarot work? I've got a block with it.
So
I don't understand how like cards can mean something.
So they're more of a psychological archetype experience than what people think when it comes to prediction.
Right.
So they can be used to forecast, but that's not really what they're used for. A true tarot reading is going to get you into the understanding of where you're at now and what's coming up for you. So the fact that those cards are laying out in a specific way kind of acts as a conduit for the reader to be able to see what's happening around you. And then it gives you a framework. The layout gives you a framework of what is coming up or where to put the information.
Right.
For me personally, I love working with tarot. Now, if you tell me what do I think is an important tool?
Yeah.
Astrology. Because I think having your astrological chart done is really important for everybody at least once a year.
At least once a year?
At least once a year. Once a year.
You first suggested that I get that done years ago.
Yep.
And I had it done about a month ago. And no, last week. And it was astounding For people that are listening, an astrology, is that the same as the birth, or what? Yeah. What did I have done? It's about where the planets were when I first took my breath, when I was born.
So that's called your natal chart.
Right. That was
and
extraordinary.
And what you need is the day of birth, time of birth, and the place and the location, and they'll do your natal chart. And it's pretty powerful. But I like it when I'm reading a client and I see them stuck. What I'll say to them is, I want you to have your chart done, but I want you to tell the astrologer that you had a reading with me. And then I want you to tell the astrologer to look here.
Right.
This is the area that you need to work on. And give them a place to dive in, because an astrologer is going to look at whatever they want to look at in your chart. But if you give them direction, so I look at astrology like an MRI to kind of focus onto an area. So if you have something that's going on, if there's like a pattern that's happening in your life, if there's like a relationship dynamic, if there's an issue that you're not happy with, you feel stuck, stagnant, blocked, anything, that's the area that you want to go look at. And you want to say to the person like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Why? Why am I feeling this way?
See, that's very interesting, because I know myself very well, and there are all sorts of things about my personality and my character that I've never really been able to explain away. All those things that make you you.
Right.
That you go, I know this about myself.
But why?
Right. And when I was talking to this woman, everything made sense about why I am the way I am according to where the planets were when I was born. It was extraordinary.
So in 1988, I had a job where I was working at a video store. And I know, back in the day.
Right? I mean, 5 weeklies for $10. Were you mad for that?
And I had a woman that walked into the store.
Yeah.
It was early in the morning, so the store was completely empty. It was the first time she ever walked in. And as soon as I looked at her, I saw superimposed over her the astrological wheel. Yeah. And I went, oh my God, you're an astrologer. And she stopped and she looked at me and went, and clearly you're a psychic. That was our first meeting. How cool is that?
That's
as
so
a meeting,
cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And then every day she would come in and we would talk about astrology. And she said, you should let me do your chart. I was like, okay. So I was all of 16, 17 maybe at the time.
Oh, wow.
No, that's not true. I was older. I was 18.
Yeah.
I was 18. And when she was reading my chart in early 1988, she said, I think your birth time might be off by a minute. I was like, why? She's like, well, I'm looking at, the chart rectification of where things are. And I just think it's going to put things off a year for you. Okay. I was brand new into understanding astrology. And then she said, your mom's going to have a very, very, very difficult October. And I said, like how? Physical transformation. There may be some stuff for her. Life might not look the same after October. And she was kind of like, so October of 1988 came. And now I'm waiting, anything happening. And my mom actually saved a woman's life on a bus in New York City. She was in a wheelchair. And not my mom, but this one was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And in the back of the bus, they have the ramp.
Yeah.
And they didn't fix her into the seat. And as they were going over the 59th Street Bridge, they hit a very big pothole bump. And the woman started going towards the back exit of the bus.
Oh, my God.
My mom, superhero, threw herself over 3 people, stopped the woman, pulled her shoulder. Well, that pull of a shoulder wasn't a pull of a shoulder. It was lung cancer. And it aggravated a tumor that was there. Anyway, long story short, between that October and April, she went through every possible test to try to figure out what was wrong with her shoulder until it was diagnosed as lung cancer. And then she passed October 5th, 1989.
Wow.
And that woman, Dee, said to me, I told you your birth time is off by a minute. Put the events off by a year. So.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she got my mom's passing to the actual hour.
Can you read charts?
Me? No, because that's all about geometry, and I failed that twice in school. So,
have you got like a learning disability?
I had a learning disability when it came to geometry. I did. I really honestly did. I had a teacher who was in his last year of teaching. He had Alzheimer's, and they were just trying to push him through so that he can get his retirement.
Yeah.
And I was in his class, and I need to be taught.
Yeah.
I'm not a go read a book person.
No.
So if you explain it to me, I'll own it. If you don't teach it to me like that, I'm not going to be able to get it. So as hard as they tried, I could not.
It was like.
I had 3 tutors. I failed the Regents, and then I had to take summer school. It was like a whole big deal. And then when it came time,
you're giving me anxiety. I hate that feeling of not
being enough,
understanding, just going, I cannot.
I really honestly.
It's the worst.
And they were like, it's easy. You have 15 proofs or 15 theorems. And I was like,
don't say it's easy. I'm going to stab you if you say it's easy.
And then I literally had 3 separate tutors try to teach me. Like everybody tried to help, but I was the kid that fell through the crack when it came to geometry. And then I realized that I needed to be that kid that fell through the crack when it came to geometry. And you'll understand why, because when I went to go take my first astrology class, it was from actually the woman that did the Enrique Caruso.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was her. So she goes, come to my class. I was like, okay. No joke. She handed me like 7 books. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? She goes, this is how we're going to cast a chart. We're going to cast your chart. I'm like, I need these books. She goes, yeah, you need longitudes, latitudes. Oh, she went through like, the ephemeris. There was like all these different books that we had to, and I literally looked at her like, are you out of your mind? I can't. I said, I'm taking a tremendous amount of, I've taken 21 credits that year in college. I was like, no, how about no?
I'm busy.
And then she goes, listen, it's going to come right back to you from high school.
Yeah.
She goes, this astrology is sacred geometry. That was it. We were done. The moment she said geometry, astrology and I parted ways.
You just floated away.
I was like, oh, this is not going to be for me.
Logic gone.
But I think it needed to happen because I don't think I would have become John Edward the medium. I think I would have become John, because I love the science aspect of astrology and the degrees and seeing what they could know and how it's all changing. So I find it so fascinating. Like I love to listen to it.
Yeah.
I think I would have become probably more obsessed with that and less paying attention to the world of energy.
Interesting.
So I think that block had to happen early on.
You have very neatly brought me to my next question, literally on the list. I've got a vague memory that you used to be a tradie, like a plumber or a...
Not me.
Electrician or something, no?
Phlebotomist. I used to work in the hospital as a phlebotomist.
What's a phlebotomist?
A venipuncturist, vampire, drew your blood, work for the lab.
Ah, one of those.
Yeah, my background's in healthcare.
Okay. Obviously, you would have been that if you hadn't kind of discovered your gift. What else could you have been if you weren't a global superstar?
I probably would be doing surgery.
Really?
Yeah, because my degree's in healthcare and public administration. Like,
you know that serial killers like that stuff.
Like the fun side of healthcare, like epidemiology, like all that kind of stuff. No. But when I was going for my degree, I worked at a hospital in clinical side, working as a phlebotomist. And I'd love the patient interaction. And then I left that to go into the admin side. Hated it.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, I remember sitting at a desk going, this is not for me.
Well, not enough face-to-face
it just was boring.
action.
It was boring.
Boring.
It was really boring. And I was like, oh my God, like I worked to get so hard to get this degree. And
do you get bored easily? Like, is that part of your character?
I can get bored. I like to be busy.
Me too.
I like to be busy. I don't like to, if I'm going to sit and do nothing, I want it to be because I want to sit and do nothing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but what's your definition of nothing? I bet you're like me. My idea of doing nothing is still about 5 times more than what a normal person would do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like doing nothing to me would be, like this is quite literally nothing, is producing a show, making 5 loaves of sourdough, unpacking the dishwasher, listening to music, discovering a new stick of incense. That's nothing. That's me doing nothing.
Right. For me, doing nothing would be writing a newsletter, thinking about what I'm doing on the app. Meditating would be part of that for me.
Yeah.
Working out would be part of that for me.
You have just brought me to my next question.
You're welcome.
John, this is bizarre. Do you work out?
Yes.
So that you stay size medium? See what I'm doing here?
Yes, I see what you're doing. I work out because I want to try to stay as healthy as I possibly can. Because I think if I ate the way I wanted to eat, I would be 700 pounds.
Yeah.
Because I don't love food, but I love the food that I love.
Yes, me too.
So it's
what's your favorite meal? Like breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
So my favorite breakfast would be a New York deli egg sandwich. Like 2 scrambled eggs on a buttered roll with salt. Yum. Every day. I can have it every single day.
Do you want me to make it for you now when we finish this podcast?
On a Kaiser roll? Yum. That is my favorite. And it's really funny because if you come from like New York and you come from that place, the eggs have to be made in a specific way. It's not scrambled eggs.
No.
It's flat eggs. The eggs are flat.
It's how I make them.
Yeah.
Folded they are.
Folded.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite breakfast. But
oh my God, I want to make it for you so bad. Make it for you now so bad. Will you let me make it for you? No. Fuck you, John. John Edward.
Chrissy Swan.
Do you have your steak medium?
Rare? Medium rare? Medium rare.
So you definitely have the medium in there, don't you?
I do. Medium rare. I can't do it well done.
John Edward.
Chrissy Swan.
Do you have any vices?
Vices? Define vice.
I mean, great question back at me, because vices are the most underrated hobby there is. Something that's bad for you.
Sugar.
I've just discovered Sour Patch Kids. Are you familiar with the work of the Sour Patch Kid?
I am. My daughter is a fan of the Sour Patch Kid.
Mine too.
No, I'm a chocolate, cookie, brownie, Krispy Kreme. Like, I like bad food.
See, I wish that I'd known that you love that, because I make the best cookies ever. I know what I mean.
Chocolate chip, yum.
I make the best chocolate chip.
Rain check.
When are you coming back?
In the fall.
What's that in English?
October, November. Your summer.
When you come back, John Edward, you are going to come to my house.
Okay.
And we're not going to record anything. It's just going to be you and me as friends.
And we're going to eat?
And we're going to eat like, you know, there's an Olympic record at stake.
So being that we're talking about food, let me tell you one of my other favorite things to eat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my God, will you stay at my house when you come back?
No, not when I'm working. If I'm working, I can't stay with people. I got to be in my own space.
I can't understand the rejection. I've got rejection sensitivity.
I will come over and we will have this as well. We'll make this. It'll be fun.
And it'll be warm and we can like wear leisure wear.
Here's one of my favorite summer meals.
Yes.
I can eat this every day in the summer.
Okay. Yes.
So, peach.
Yes.
Ripe peach.
Yes.
Cold. Sliced.
Yes.
Burrata or fresh mozzarella.
Yes.
Okay. Then
it's like a caprese salad, but with peach.
But wait, you need to have basil-infused olive oil.
Yes.
And a balsamic glaze.
Yes.
Yum.
What about bread in there? I like a little bit of like
ciabatta,
greasy bread in there.
We could do that.
And then I can make you that room temperature steak as well, medium well.
With a plastic wrap, right?
Yes, I will do that for you.
Okay.
And then we can...
Medium rare.
Yes, medium rare. And then we can finish it off with the best
chocolate chip
cookie you've ever had in your life.
Hard or soft?
Well, see, I make them to order. If you like a hard one...
No, soft.
You like a soft one.
Is it me or this whole
podcast
like has a whole other undertone going on?
I like a hard one, which brings me to my next... Am I ever going to have sex again?
I'm kind of feeling like a magic 8 ball right now, so it looks promising.
Does it? I couldn't be bothered, to be honest.
This is payback for that show. I know it is.
You know the theory of cause and effect. Every action has a reaction, John Edward.
Here's karma for you.
What is your favourite thing to read? I'm asking you these questions because we have known each other for so long, but we never get to talk like this.
Right.
You know.
So one of my favorite things recently has been my daughter got me back into reading. I wasn't reading for a while.
It's magical, isn't it?
And she's like constantly in a book.
Yeah.
Like and I said, you know what would you recommend that I read? Because when my son was in school, I read everything that he was reading with him.
Yeah, right.
And then when she was in school, I didn't do that at all.
Yeah, no, who could be bothered with the last one?
So I was like, let me read with you now.
Yeah.
Pick a book.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God. But she's like reads these like tomes. I go, pick a book, not a series. Just give me a book. So she gave me The Secret Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab.
I've heard of that. Someone else has recommended that to me.
And it was really good.
Great. Okay, that's a good recommendation. Can you put together flat pack furniture?
I'm not handy.
That's a shame. I've got a bookshelf I bought off Amazon in the front room. I was hoping you could whip it together in exchange for some steak and cookies.
Haunted? Not haunted.
No, it's not haunted.
Okay.
It's brand new. Are you a tight ass or a spendthrift?
I look at money as energy, and I don't want to see energy stagnant. So I'm going to say...
You spend it.
I let it go.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, I kind of feel like,
one of the saddest character traits I can see in anybody is...
Miser.
An obsession with money. Yeah. And they often go that way.
My mom died when she was 48, and every week when she got her paycheck, the first thing that she would do was go downtown to a boutique and buy clothes for her job. And one of my other aunts said to her, why are you spending all your money on clothes? And she's like, well, I need it for work. And she's like, oh, but you should put it away for your retirement. So the fact that she got a chance to enjoy her money and wear it and have it in her closet, that to me was like, I felt good about that. Yeah. Not the bills she left me, but I felt good about that. I felt good about that. But I think it's important, like, not to, Robert Brown is a medium from London, and one of the things that he did once when he came to New York, and we were doing some group work together, he took a penny and he said, how much is this worth? And I went, a penny? And then he took it and he put it in front of my eye. He goes, can you see anything? And I went, no. He goes, many, many people will let something that has very little value, like money, block their vision. And I just thought, it's awesome analogy.
Yes. I've seen people that have had their vision blocked so badly by money that they haven't enjoyed their life, and it's too late when they realise that they've pulled focus on the wrong thing their whole life.
Nobody's ever come through talking about their 401k.
Their what?
Their retirement plan.
All right. They're super.
Yeah. Nobody's ever come through saying, my finances. The most important value is the commodity of love and connection. That's what they talk about. Yeah. They don't care about houses and cars and jewelry and money.
I feel very fortunate that I've learnt that while I'm living, that connection is everything to me.
Family.
Yeah.
You're
friends, people, human beings.
That's where the true value is.
People I don't know, people on the street. I just love it. I feel so connected to the world.
Do you have a Trevor?
I've got an Uncle Trevor.
I don't know why the name Trevor is like popping in my head as I'm talking to you.
I was deeply in love with a character played by Ben Mendelsohn called Trevor when I was a teenager.
Is your Uncle Trevor still here?
Yes. He was beautiful.
Is Uncle Trevor through your dad's side?
Yes, but he was one of those, in the 70s and 80s, they don't do it that much now. But you had uncles that were absolutely not related to you.
Right.
So Uncle Trevor.
Is like a family friend.
We had so many. Yeah. Uncle Bob, Auntie Joy. Absolutely no blood relatives at all, but, near enough. He had beautiful hair, Uncle Trevor.
Is your dad passed?
No.
So there's something about that side of the family, the lung cancer connection for you. There's a lung cancer connection around the Trevor vibe.
Oh.
So if that's your dad's side of the family, that's how I would see that.
Okay. I'll have to look into that.
Little sidebar, sorry.
I hope Trev's all right. Jesus. Is there something you always make sure you eat when you're in Australia?
Yes.
What?
Do I have to say it on the air?
Yes.
I love the Meat and Wine, the Meat and Wine restaurant.
The Meat and Wine Company.
Love their chicken skewers.
The curly fries, excuse me. They do unbelievable fries.
No, I like their chips, but the skewers are
the best.
The best.
There's one just down here. You are like 200 metres from a Meat and Wine Company. Here are some questions about me, John.
Okay.
Tap into whatever the oogity boogity is that you can summon.
It's the woo.
It's the woo. Will belly bags ever be cool?
Coolness really is in the perspective of the person choosing to be cool. So yes.
Thank you. Will I ever perfect sourdough bread?
I think you'll always be reaching for the next loaf.
Will I ever stop buying containers?
We could be related with that question.
How good are containers? Oh my God, I've got something.
I love to organize.
So do I.
Oh
my God, so do I.
Between that and luggage.
I've had a reaction in my boobs just thinking about containers and organisation.
I love organizing.
I wish I'd known earlier that the key to a good life is containers.
And no clutter. So here's...
Yes, I've been decluttering for 2 years.
Here's a way of, understanding and how we can tie everything back to energy. Whenever you see people say the sign of a brilliant mind is the chaos and the clutter.
I don't know about that.
I don't care how brilliant you are. Clutter is a blockage.
Yeah.
And it's important to unblock your energetic life. And in the physical world, physical clutter creates blockage.
100%. And I find it's as kind of rudimentary as this. If I've got something very big to do, to work on, to achieve,
You have to clean first.
I cannot even look at that task until I've cleaned up. Once I've cleaned up, it's almost like a physical bang, you know, like on the Minority Report when Tom Cruise pushes the screens away. That's it, and I can focus really clearly on what I have to do.
So I have a video that because I'm a germaphobe, but I'm also like a clean freak, right? So when you work in a laboratory, when you work in food service, you just have a different perspective when it comes to cleaning. So the person that I worked for at the deli, he was so obsessive.
I used to work at a deli too.
Obsessed with cleaning. Like if you were not with a client or cooking, you were cleaning. And like we had the cleanest deli ever. So when I was home one night, we had dinner, family friends were over, everybody left. And allegedly everything was cleaned. So of course, cleaned by one person's standards, it's not cleaned by my standards.
Never.
So I was like, how do I demonstrate this without sounding like a crazy person? So I took my phone and I went, here's what I see. I know, here's what everybody sees. And it looked completely clean. And then I dropped my phone down to the angle of the counter and I go, here's what I see. And it like little crumb boulders all over the counter that people had missed.
Yeah.
So I'm that person when it comes to like cleaning and organizing and keeping things where they're supposed to be. Like my kids can call me right now and say, hey, where's this? And I can go second drawer on the left because I know where everything is.
Wow. That is impressive. Also, you are not walking back through my house on the way out. Will my kids stay at home with me forever and ever, please?
No.
How long do I have with them?
I don't know. It depends on how you communicate with them. It's all about how you communicate with them.
I can lock them in the house until they're 50. I love them so much.
I think that's a good thing.
Okay. Will I ever find a reliable printer?
Is there such a thing?
Maybe not.
Is there such a thing?
Fucking hate them, John.
I mean, by the time you buy the toner, it's might as well buy a new printer.
That's so true. Will my car ever be clean inside for more than 2 days?
No. And eventually you'll have to stop blaming your children.
Will I regret my purchase of a deep fryer?
I don't think you'll regret your purchase of a deep fryer. I think you'll regret the space that your deep fryer may take up. Where does that live? It can't live on the counter.
No, it lives away and it splooshes fat everywhere. But my God, do I love it.
No juicer?
I do have a juicer and that's always out. And also because my wrists are very sore and I'm a very old person now, I've got an electric can opener and I cannot recommend it enough.
There's no need to not have an electric can opener. That's like the best ever.
It should be a government, like, subsidized thing.
That's because you worked.
What is
That's because
this?
you worked in a deli.
I was dynamite on that slicer. Don't you worry.
Me too. What was your least favorite thing that you had to slice?
Presswurst. What was yours?
Probably the same thing. Liverwurst. It's probably the same exact thing.
Well, liverwurst is like, pate, but presswurst was like slicing a rubber ball.
And if you were closing at 9, somebody came in at 10 to 9.
Of course they did.
Wanting that.
Yes. That's exactly what would happen.
Do you know that I used to, when I worked the night shift, I would take the messiest meats and I would do like a half a pound of them and it would be done. And then I would break down the slicer.
That's genius.
And then people would come in and be like,
I'll have a pound.
Are you guys? And I was like, yeah, I get totally. Here you go. Already done.
Genius.
But I didn't know I was psychic yet. I just thought I was being efficient.
I used to work in a supermarket deli and I don't want to big note myself or anything, but I was promoted to chicken roaster.
On the spit?
Yes.
Me too. Did you make them dance?
Yes. But just when you said what was your worst meat to slice, nothing was worse than rodding up the chickens. I would pull them out of
the pins?
Yes. And you would hold them up and get them on and all of that liquid would run down your arm into your armpit.
Did you have to clean the rotisserie too?
Yes. Did someone say baked on goo?
Nightmare fuel.
Nightmare. And now...
And we're back to food again.
I know. And, to use the parlance of our times, I'm totally triggered. I've got it's like 5 or 6 years old now, but when I bought my barbecue, it came with the rotisserie function and
Never used it.
I can't.
Same.
I can't go near it. And it's got those little...
Yep.
I can't do it. Too many bad memories. And we're at my last question. John Edward, my friend, I'm so thrilled to have you here in my house. It's just like
Thank
a dream. The last question for you. Look into my eyes.
I'm looking deep.
I'm going to take my glasses off. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I can see. Look how big I print things because I'm blind. Will I achieve my dream of living my life in my old age in a clean house filled with books and art and a crazy herb garden and just me and lots of room for my kids and my friends and a brown velvety cat that doesn't wee inside?
Not seeing it. Doesn't mean it can't happen.
What are you saying?
I'm just not seeing specifically all of that in one little wrapped up bundle. Maybe you don't get the cat.
The cat's important.
Okay, keep the cat.
How am I going to end up?
However you manifest.
Fucking tell me, John.
This is where you go back to your astrologer and you go part 2, progress my chart into the future and tell me how I wind up.
You tell me. You've got the oogity boogity.
The woo is not clear on that one.
How very dare you?
So no peaches now? I'm chocolate chips are done?
No, you still get the peaches and the chocolate chips.
Okay, because they are my favorite.
And you can tell me when we're not recording what the future is for me.
Maybe a lesbian lifestyle.
Heaven. Absolutely. Everyone's doing it.
It's very, you never know.
John Edward, what a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you for inviting me.
And next time there will be cookies and steak and peach salad.
I'm in.
You're the best.
Thanks.
John Edward is touring Australia again, launching in very late October 2024. Hit him up on his website, johnedward.net, and grab some tickets. And if you go along, maybe dress up as a spooky wardrobe or something just to really freak him out. Ooh. Next time, ChrissieCasters.